Are you ready to give up the vice that is holding you back from accomplishing your full potential this November? Well, it's prep mode for No Vice November with me, Dr. Trish Leigh. It's 1 month in advance from No Vice November, and I'm here to help you get ready because what we're going to talk about is planning, preparing, and reducing. And if you follow me along this October and November, come December 1st, you're going to be in a much better place than you are now. And you know why we're doing this? Because our vices harm our brains, especially when it comes to explicit matter. So let's dive in. I want you to think about what vice are you giving up this November? It's very specific to you. And how are you going to ensure that you're successful? So let's dive in. What vice are you going to give up? I primarily focus on helping people who are giving up vices that have to do with explicit matter. So if you're going to commit to leaving pornography, masturbation, fantasy, lusting, anything that has to do with a streaming service or social media that's used in a sexual way, or any other unwanted sexual behavior, you're in the right place. And I want you to drop a red X, just like the red X on my upcoming book, Mind Over Explicit Matter. Get that red X going. Drop it in the comments below to show me and you that you're ready to commit to this no vice November. Now, for me, the vices I'm going to give up, basically the only vices I have left, thank goodness, right? I am going to give up drinking, and we'll talk about what that looks like in a second. And then secondarily, rushing around. Now, both of those things I don't really want to do, but both of them make me feel good. So I don't drink that much, but I really should not drink at all. So if you're thinking, I don't watch porn that much, well, you're in the same position as me. It's much easier to not do a thing that much than it is to not do a thing at all. So we're in it together this year. We're going to do this thing together. So we're going to commit to not doing our vice at all in the month of November. So you have to plan it ahead of time. What is the vice or vices that you're going to give up? So alcohol is the great disinhibitor. It disinhibits us to go do the things that help take the edge off. So for many people who are trying to stay away from explicit matter, alcohol, leaving it behind or reducing it can really be an important piece of ensuring success. So perhaps alcohol might be one of the vices that you're going to leave behind this November too. So when it comes to alcohol, that's something I'm not going to do for November. Now, rushing around, is that really a vice, Dr. Trish? Yes, it is. Because you know what? Rushing around is probably the worst thing that I do for myself. It keeps my system in survival mode. It keeps my nervous system in fight or flight. It's unnecessary at this point in my life. It was never necessary, but I was taught to produce, never sit down, never relax. So when I am going, and I'm on high alert, that is actually where I feel most comfortable because that's what I'm trained to do from my childhood. That is my survival mode. What I want us to do this November, all of us, is get out of survival mode, get into thrival, so we don't need things like alcohol and explicit matter to help us take the edge off. So it is very important that you figure out what might be one of your survival mode vices that you need to give up this November? And then, of course, the self-soothing behavior that goes along with that survival mode that you've inadvertently put yourself in. When it comes to rushing around, I'm the one who does it to myself. Then I want to drink to take the edge off. So I'm planning this November to give up drinking and rushing around. What are you planning to do? Put it in the comments so I can support you and everybody else in this community can support you too. That's the plan, Stan. You with me? Okay, now moving on to number 2 is prepare. We have to prepare for this. Any journey requires preparation. So I just tried to go visit my parents, but Hurricane Helene decided to change my plans as it came into North Carolina. I did a lot of preparation to potentially go visit my parents. I had to get tickets for the flights. I had to rent a car. I had to pack my bags. I actually was on the plane and out onto the tarmac before they turned it around. And I came home after all of that preparation. So what are you going to do to prepare for No Vice November? You've already planned what you're going to give up, and you're going to be very specific about that. And don't give up a million things. Give up 2 of the vices that you need to leave behind: a survival mechanism and a self-soothing mechanism that has to do with explicit matter, if that's what you're here for. So the prepare is, we have to get ready to figure out what you're going to do instead. Now, remember, if you're going to explicit matter or drinking or any vice, really, you're doing it to self-soothe, to make yourself feel better. And it has to do with a dopamine dependency. Your brain wants dopamine to feel good or to not feel bad. And what you've taught it to do is to go to the screen or to go to explicit matter to be able to feel good, not bad, ultimately. Now, it is difficult enough to give up a habit, but a compulsion and an addiction is even more difficult. That's why we need to prepare. So, to prepare for me, giving up drinking and rushing around, I've done a few things, but I'm going to share 2 things that I'm in the midst of preparing. Number 1 is, what am I going to do in the places where I'm most at risk for slipping or a relapse? Now, for me, for drinking, that's Friday night, because I usually get together with my cronies, my friends. Actually, this week it was Saturday, today's Sunday. So I put a picture on Instagram of me on my way out to meet the friends to hang out. Thankfully, I don't drink that much, but you know what? It's enough that it's got to go in November and hopefully forever. I've been talking about here for a while. Anyway, I have to prepare what I'm going to do on Friday night. Now, the easiest thing is going to be getting outdoors. I live in North Carolina. It's been 1000% humid for months now. That's going to cut, and the humidity is going to go down now in the fall, especially in November. It's going to be the perfect time to get back outside. So I have my walking sneakers. These are my Jive walking sneakers, but they're not tight enough. And you know what? I've never been able to run in these types of sneakers. So those are my walking sneakers. And I just had to buy some new running sneakers because mine are beat. So I got myself a pair of sneakers so I am prepared to hit the pavement in the evenings and especially on Friday. Getting out in the outdoors where drinking wouldn't be a thing is the easiest thing for me, because typically I'll go out for dinner and I'll meet my friends. That environment is going to be the most difficult one for me not to drink in. So in November, I'm going to get outside on Friday evenings, and you can look forward to seeing what I'm doing on my Instagram account, because I'm going to keep you updated there on my No Vice November. So prepare. What are you going to do instead? Do you need to get anything to fill that hole where you would be most at risk for explicit matter? Now, in terms of rushing, how am I going to avoid rushing? You know what I've done? I've already looked at my schedule coming up for October and November, and I've made it so that I have more breaks in November so that my schedule is much more comfortable with less rushing. So I'm preparing to have a calendar that has more downtime. That way I can rush less. I can't just say I'm going to rush less in November, but do nothing about it. I have to prepare for it. So you think of the times when you're most at risk and what you're going to do instead. I'm most at risk for rushing every single day, Monday through Sunday. So I've made my weekday plan and my weekend plan, and I've cut things out of my schedule, and I've actually scheduled in the downtime moving into November. You need to do the same thing. So in the comments, tell me what you're going to do instead. Tell me how you're going to prepare and get ready for No Vice November. Now, moving on to number 3. We talked about planning and preparing. Number 3 is reducing. Now's the time to reduce. Reducing watching porn or using explicit matter is not a solid strategy for overcoming pornography addiction. But moving into November, reducing a little bit at a time is a solid strategy to help you be more successful in November. So what is it going to look like? We have 4 weeks moving into November. You're going to reduce your usage by 25% a week. That means 25% reduction, 50% reduction, 75% reduction, 100% reduction by November 1st. This way, you're going to wean yourself off so that you can be most successful come November 1st, being able to stay away. That's going to be much easier for that brain of yours because you've weaned off moving into November, setting yourself up for success. So let's review what you're going to do to get ready for No Vice November with me. Okay, number one, you're going to drop a red X to commit to No Vice November. Get it going in the comments. You're going to join me here once a week until November on our prep mode playlist. And then come November 1st, there's going to be a daily video for you so you can stay motivated and empowered to leave explicit matter behind forever so you can reach your full potential. Number two, you're going to make your plan. What vices are you going to give up? One is going to be one that keeps you in survival mode. The other is going to be the self-soothing mechanism. I'm giving up rushing and drinking. So join me. Tell me what you're going to do. Then you're going to prepare. What are you going to do instead? And what do you need to do to get ready? You're going to get yourself a new pair of kicks. If you're getting out into the outdoors, just like I am, you're going to figure out when the holes in your schedule are that need to be plugged so you can be successful. Be prepared. My son's an Eagle Scout. That is the Boy Scout motto. Be prepared, my friends. Get prepared right now. And you're going to start reducing your consumption or usage right now. I'm going to do this also. I've already started and I'm going to commit 25% at a time, week by week. So come November 1st, we're all set up for success. Okay, now don't forget to join me. Get ready because this is the year we're going to do it together. And remember, if you need help, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. Porn Free Brain Forever is available, and it's available at $100 off for October and November, moving into No Vice November using the coupon code Trish100. So if you need more support and you're committing to the full Monty this November, go over to drtrishleigh.com. Porn Free Brain Forever under Porn Addiction Recovery so that you can join me in the official program so that you can guarantee that you're successful. Now get ready for No Vice November. And as always, remember, control your brain or it will control you.